talking to the incomparable Dennis Hopper, and I asked him to shave his head for the show, and he's such an accommodating guy. What's the, as Letterman would say, what's the deal on your hair?
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. I'm in the middle of doing a movie with Kevin Costner called Waterworld, which right at the moment is the most expensive movie ever made. And I've just returned from shooting 4 months in Hawaii.
Oh, that one where that really is the most expensive.
No,
They've built this huge thing out there, and they found that it rocks and ruins some of the shots. And you're in that?
Well, I don't know that it rocks and ruins some of the shots. Sometimes it's like, gets a little rough out there, you might say.
I'd heard that one of the things they didn't foresee was that the action of the sea, like when Spielberg was trying to shoot the shark stuff and the boat he was in. Is the most expensive movie in the history of this planet.
Mm-hmm.
How much is it up to now?
Well, I don't really have that. I'm not. They don't really tell me.
Are you free to reveal it if you do?
Well, not really, but
so we
being me, I'll go for it. Yeah, it was budgeted $100 million.
Oh well.
And I think it's somewhere between 140 and 160. That's what I've heard. So I don't really, but I really don't have the knowledge.
Do you, as a film star and an illustrious, important figure in the business, when you hear money talked about like that, ever have that cliched thought, and they don't have enough money to keep the kids' mission open in Harlem, and they don't have enough money to keep the this and that going?
You know what I think about, and this really shows you that I'm really an actor. I think, how come I'm not getting more money? That's what I think.
That's the real thought. That's as honest a statement as
I mean, I have
ever
to tell you the truth. I just wonder why they don't pay me more money to be in this movie. And
well, that thing on 60 Minutes where they don't have enough money, allegedly, for the Federal Drug Administration to let all those poor people have that vaccine they've got. This was an expose, 60 Minutes.
But anyway, I've had a very good time on the movie.
Shut down a movie like that and take the money and hand it to them, and then, but it doesn't work. Life doesn't work that way, does it? Are you playing someone's wimpish son-in-law in this movie?
No, not really.
Referring to your last show?
No, I'm playing it probably. Well, the worst and the best villain I've ever.
For you, that's saying something.
Yeah, it's
what's his specialty? Is it beyond Hannibal the Cannibal, even?
This guy's bad news. He's a deacon, which makes him a religious fanatic of sorts, and he's looking for dry land in a water world. The ice caps have melted. Man has screwed up the environment. It's just water, but the deacon knows there's land somewhere. And so he's after the mariner, who has a little girl with him that has a tattoo on his back that I am convinced that tattoo is the way to map to dry land. And Kevin Costner has gills and webbed feet.
I've heard rumors of that, but he really does?
Oh, yeah. He can swim like a fish.
What?
He swims like a fish. He's a
Costner.
muto. A muto.
Really? I don't know if you should be telling all this on the air. This is reminding me of last time when you were telling about some of your drug delusions, and it sounds like the same sort of thing.
Sort of like that.
Yeah. Well, what's the chance of this aqueous turkey getting onto the screen finally?
Oh, it's going to be there. It's a wonderful film, actually. It's a Mad Max kind of, Mad Max on water.
I got to say, what you just said about it now is the first thing I've heard about it that really makes me want to see it. It sounds
good. It's going to be exciting. You know, the thing about movies are, though, you work so hard on a movie and you just never know. I mean, hey. Who knows whether they're going to be good or bad at the end of it all? You just do the best you can and go for it.
Do you know a book that Elgene Harmetz wrote called, I think, Round Up the Usual Suspects, about the making of Casablanca? And you know what a mishmash mess that was? Nobody knew who was going to play what, how it was going to end. Bogey wanted out of it. But what's her name? Good
Bergman.
God. May God forgive me. Miss Bergman. Didn't know which lover she was going to get.
Oh.
And the Michael Curtiz, rather lousy man, I'm told, said, play it down the middle.
Play it down the middle.
See, they didn't know yet. And yet, that movie, no one knows why. Similar movies were made. So it's a roll of the dice when you make a film.
Absolutely.
Easy Rider cost, I think, $350,000.
Around that, 340.
Did it make that much back?
Need a few pennies back,
40 million?
I think that's about right.
Did the suits in Hollywood treat you with a whole different attitude once that happened?
Yeah, until I made the last movie, which is my next film. And
the aptly titled The Last Movie?
The last movie, which is the end of my directorial career for a while.
You know why that's puzzling? Because I happen to know that in Venice it won the prize.
Yeah.
I believe you had 80 hours of film.
Yeah.
How in hell you get selected an hour and a half of it to use? And it won a great prize in Venice that cut no ice.
Yeah.
With
No,
Hollywood?
they wanted me to re-edit it, and I refused. Another one of my brilliant business moves and career moves, not to re-edit when Universal told me to re-edit. Yeah.
Another under the category of possibly self-destructive.
Yes.
But who has more taste to look at of the accountants and bean counters and so on and say it's a better movie than you know it to be, or worse?
Well, yeah.
It's a good
but
question.
They did say that they weren't going to distribute it if I didn't re-edit it, and I said, well, sorry about that. And I believe I went on your show, didn't I?
I think you did.
I went on your show
I
and
think
said,
you did.
I went on your show and said, how can they do this to me? They told, I did, as a matter of fact.
I said, pipe down, Dennis. We got a message. We'll be right back.